Just put it live. Yeah, now. Anurag, you're in your residence now?
Sorry?
You're in at your residence?
Yeah, I'm in student
Okay.
accommodation, right?
Okay, so it's sharp 5 o'clock, and let's begin this program. Hello,
Hello.
friends. My name is Aslam Sheikh, your host for this evening, and I'm a founder and CEO of Aleph, a platform to promote global perspective of education and career. This is our eighth webinar series and is being broadcasted live on Facebook and YouTube channel. So I'm sure that you're watching on any of these channels to us. Every Friday, we aim to bring in the valuable speakers to discuss the topics that are important to you and help in students and parents to take a wise career decision. So let's move on today's topic. And today's topic is India Sim New Zealand Kahaani student and parents Zubani. I have with me Alif students from New Zealand and parent from India joining us in this session. So I'm pleased to introduce Anurag Mishra to you. Hi Anurag.
Hello.
Right. So just to give you a brief about Anurag what is he doing in New Zealand. So Anurag is studying a Bachelor of Commerce in Economics at University of Canterbury in New Zealand. So University of Canterbury is located in the beautiful town of Christchurch, and university ranks among top 300 globally in the world. For taxation, accounting, and law, it is among top 150 in the world, whereas for economics, engineering, and management, it ranks among top 50 in the world, and it may be better than most of the IITs and IIMs, just for the easy comparison. Anurag has been studying in New Zealand for the last 2 years and has got enough experience to share with us. So I welcome Anurag.
Hey, hello everyone. My name is Anurag. I'm 20 years old. I am doing my Bachelor of Commerce from University of Canterbury, and I'm halfway through my degree. And just a fair bit of clarification. So I am doing commerce. I'm doing finance and supply chain management. Uh, and
Right.
it's been going great till now. I'm enjoying a lot overall.
Thank you. Thank you,
And
Anurag.
thank you.
Yeah. Let me just introduce your father as well. So we have got Anurag's father with us, Mr. Yogesh Mishra. He's a central government officer, and I welcome Mr. Yogesh ji and for your time for sharing with us.
Hello everyone. Hello, Aslam bhai.
Thank you, Yogesh ji. Okay, so let's begin the session. And as we usually do, is that we ask the students about his journey, how it has been so far. So we will start with how Anurag got started. And of course, Yogesh ji will also join in the conversation as a parent, as a father, that what all he has done so far to reach up to this point and how he supported Anurag to achieve his dream of going abroad for higher education. So let me first invite Anurag. Anurag, uh, I saw you 2 years back, and of course, when you were there in India, I had a chance to meet with you. And thanks for Yogesh for inviting me for a lunch we had together when Anurag was here. So that's how we've been remain in connect with our students. So Anurag, would you like to share that? How is the student journey? You know, you were just 12 pass when you started your first step towards abroad education. So as an 18-year-old student or 17 and a half maybe at that time, and what was the situation like? You know, you want to go abroad. What were the challenges? What were the questions in your mind? And I mean, just share with us to our students so that they can relate with you.
So basically, as an 18-year-old, if you think of studying abroad, to a lot of other people, it's like a very big step. And the first thing people think of is the challenges. But in my case, I only kept thinking about all the positive things because I know that challenges are going to come ahead. But you should not think of them in the present moment and stress yourself out because of that, and just look out for all the positives that you're going to achieve in the future, and don't overthink about the whole process. Just go with the flow, like how things are happening. Just don't overthink, because if you tend to overthink, then you might actually miss out on few things. So just keep going with the process and just choose the right people to for the entire procedure. That's it.
Right. So, Anurag, take us back to the history of our memories, wherein you were about to decide which program to choose, how to decide about the country and the program and the university as well, and then what step you took at that time. How did you reach out to us or to other people, and then how did it all happen to you at the first place?
So, to begin with, I chose science as my stream after 10th grade, just like not giving things a second thought and just following the usual stereotypical thing of taking science because I scored decent percentage in my 10th grade, and like to others that just makes me automatically eligible for taking science. So I took
Yeah.
science. I think in the initial days of my 12th grade, I came across a few commerce programs, to be specific, in bachelor's. And so I researched on them because it was something new to me. Because as a science student, you just look for engineering. That's it, like, or maybe medical for some. So I came across this London School of Economics advertisement on YouTube,
Mhm.
and I was like, there is like a specific university just for economics. So there is definitely something special about commerce field as well. Because in India, commerce is not given that much priority as engineering and medical. So all I did was started researching about it because I was so intrigued by this fact that commerce has like a specific university for itself. Then I came across programs like specializing in finance and economics and started going through a few 12th grade books on economics just to understand whether this particular field is my interest or not. Um, so that's how I like switched my minds because I got to know about more options. I got more aware. And then basically I started researching for universities where I can uh, specialize in these particular commerce field.
Right.
So one big step is choosing the right people for consulting because they know a lot more. It's their job, they specialize in it, so definitely they know a lot more than you. So I went through a couple of consulting, agencies before meeting Aleph. So those agencies usually just focus on two countries, basically. First is United States, and next is Canada. And so, as a client, you are just so restricted with your choices that you're just so pressurized by them to make choices about either United States or Canada. So you don't look beyond that. But luckily, I came across Aleph, and they gave me a different perspective altogether. They started with countries like Ireland, New Zealand, Australia, the other side of the world. So that gave me like more area to research on, and you know forced me to like think beyond United States and Canada. And
Right. Just want to draw one a point here for our audience also that many times it happens, and in fact, many of my family friends have also asked the same question: is that how it is different to going to a consulting firm who is consulting only for selected universities or selected country, and going to a consulting firm like Aleph who has been doing almost 12 plus countries. And here is the answer for you. So, just drawing attention from or reference from Anurag, what happens is that when you are focusing only onto selected country, you may
Yeah.
miss out the bigger opportunities which may other offered by the other countries. And it's nothing that any country is good or bad, but not all the countries are good for everyone. So you got to make a right match. And if you are not open up to at least learn about different countries and compare and have a healthy comparison, you may not be knowing that other bigger opportunities, which may be good for you based on your profile and what you want to do, you could miss out. So that's an important point what Anurag is making it here. Yes, Anurag.
Yeah,
So,
so going ahead. Yep.
so when you did that research and you compared, what did you found out you were not thinking of earlier about, say, New Zealand and Ireland when you got to know?
So the thing is, most of the people are not aware of the education in these countries like Ireland and New Zealand, because they are not as famous as, other big countries. And I mean, I am glad that I came across these countries because I got to know more about them in terms of education, in terms of opportunities in this part of the world. So yeah.
So I just wanted to invite here Yogesh ji. When Anurag was doing his research as a father, what were your concern? And I'm sure I remember you sharing with me the same thing, that most of family members or friends were advising you to go to US because everybody knows about mostly about that country. So what was your perspective that time, and how did it really help you to open up your mind?
I'm very sorry, sir. There is some network issues. So
No, no
please
problem.
bear.
Yeah, yeah.
The thing was that it was like I was thinking of sending him, giving a big. Every father wants to give a good education to his son.
Right.
So somebody said, okay, why not you send him abroad? And then I asked, abroad, then where abroad?
Hmm.
So one of my friend is a close friend. He said, everybody goes to US, you also send him to US. That what a big deal.
Right.
So sending a you to US is a very big deal, obviously a big deal. Being a government servant, finance is a big problem. So how do I, because I was blank on that. So that was a very big challenge. How I would be able to do it.
Right. Right.
So
So how this counseling helped you as a father?
pardon?
How this counseling, but later on, getting a counseling and getting to know about the other countries really helped you. What did you do then
Yeah,
after?
yeah, exactly. Because in fact, since I was blank, somebody said, "Ki, why don't you go for career counseling?"
Mm-hmm.
So and I got to know about LF. He's a like one Mr. Aslam is giving very good counseling and all, as an institution, frankly speaking.
Right.
So, and as far as I am concerned, there is a phrase: "Well begun is half done." If
Right.
you approach a good counselor, obviously free counselors are everywhere. You will find your friends, your relatives. You send there. So I was very confused. Where to send him? So
Right.
then I approached Elephant. They very well, like they are doing for all the countries and all. It's not only New Zealand and or US. So they gave me a comparison like, this is the fees you have to spend in US. Like it was $50,000 only fees, not living expenses. And then in comparison, this New Zealand came. Otherwise, before that, I was not knowing about New Zealand. New Zealand has got a very good colleges, good universities. In fact, all universities are government universities. Like everybody wants to send his son to government university after graduation in India.
Mm-hmm.
So US are having lots of universities. Those are private universities also. But my uh, preference was to send him in the government university. So I was very much positive on that part
Mm-hmm.
as far as New Zealand is concerned.
Right.
So this came from California. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, as like, what happens is that as a parent, most of the time you have got your own preferences, and if you have got a specific preference, then as a consultants being connected with the across the world universities, we can help you to identify what are your preferences, and your preferences could be different from your friend's preferences or somebody else's preferences. तो जैसे आपकी प्रेफरेंस होती है उस बेस पे देन वी ट्राई टू आइडेंटिफाई द गुड यूनिवर्सिटी नाउ Anurag had the reasonable percentage, not very, 80, 90 plus, but a reasonable percentage. I think around 70 or 78 के बीच में कुछ Anurag के percentage थे,
80, around 80, yeah.
around 80
Yeah,
के
80
आसपास.
in 12th.
Right. And then we were looking at 80 में what best can we do, Can we get into a good ranking university, a government university, keeping this percentage in mind? and having a budget in place which we can also afford. And when you combine all these factors together, then you come out with a solution that okay, this is the best university, or this is the best country, or this might be the top three good options, and then you choose among them. So I think that's the best way to go ahead, as confirmed by Yogeshji. And career counseling is very important because that is the first step with which you start your journey. So Anurag, would you like to take us through the point of career counseling? When you did a career counseling and you got to know about the university, how did you decide then, okay, I want to pick up out of these three, this one and this country? What made you to decide that as a student?
So basically, I was sure about my subjects. Like by the time I was, at the end of the counseling process, I was sure of which subjects I need to pick up for my bachelor's. Then I started looking for universities and the departments, like specifically the departments for those subjects and their rankings. Because usually what people do is they just Google the ranking for the entire university, which just gives you the general and a very broad number for the ranking. So my advice would be to look for the rankings of your specific subjects and then choose the university. So in terms of New Zealand, I applied for Victoria and UC, and I got the offer letter for both of them. But Victoria's ranking is a little less than UC for bachelor's in finance. Uh, though although like Victoria is good for research, so like people who want to like go for PhD and everything, Victoria is one of the top quality research universities in New Zealand. But in terms of bachelor's, I chose UC over Victoria because of the high rankings and better, academic curriculum and stuff.
Right. And just to take this conversation further, so when you went ahead for the preparation of the documentation, what do you advise to students, in terms of doing research about the subject before you go? What you did, I was really impressed the way you prepared yourself, and you took up some good initiatives. Would you like to share with the students so it will benefit them?
Yeah. So the bottom line of everything is to like invest your time in researching. Like whatever random thought that comes to your mind related to your academics and you think that will be beneficial for you, just do your research. Just go for it. And so my subject in general, finance. So every information is available on university website in terms of what they are going to teach, what papers they expect you to finish, and everything. So just browse through the entire university website because that makes you aware of what you're going to do in the future. So basically, I went through the university websites, got to know the papers, then watched few YouTube videos on what exactly these papers are going to teach me, and then I got to know if this is something which is going to interest me or not. And that's how I like followed finance, because the papers were really interesting and I thought this information will be something useful in the future.
Right. And Yogi ji, as a parent, I know that it's a very big decision. At the age of 18, you let your son go out, जहाँ पे ज़्यादातर इंडियन पेरेंट्स आज के सोचते हैं कि इट्स अ वेरी अर्ली एज टू सेंड किड्स अब्रॉड फॉर हायर एजुकेशन या घर से बाहर भेजने की पढ़ाई के लिए. सो हाउ डिड इट केम टू योर माइंड टू टेक सच अ बिग डिसीजन? ये डिसीजन आपने कैसे लिया इतना बड़ा? योगेश जी, आवाज आ रही है हमारी आपको?
Yeah, there's some voice issue here.
अच्छा, आई एम जस्ट रिपीटिंग कि ज्यादा पेरेंट्स
Can you come again, please?
हाँ, सोचते हैं, डरते हैं कि इतनी कम उम्र में बच्चों को बाहर कैसे भेजे पढ़ने के लिए, और आपने एक बड़ा डिसीजन लिया था उस वक्त. तो आपका मीन क्या फैक्टर था जिसकी वजह से आपने डिसीजन लिया, एंड व्हाट यू वांट टू शेयर अबाउट योर डिसीजन विद योर अदर पेरेंट्स कि इतने अर्ली एज में कैसे भेजे बच्चे को?
Yeah, it was a very bold step which I had to take because normally in India, children are pampered. So they just voice it and they will get everything in hand. So he's not, and he's 17 or 18 years old. At that time, it was 17 and a half years old.
Right.
So to send him abroad in a totally a different culture, it was very difficult to digest for both parents. Like.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I also did my education staying out of my out of station only. Like, but that was within India. New Zealand is 12,000, 13,000 kilometers far from here.
Right.
My son going there, a totally different culture. Everything, everything is new. Like culture, what he will eat, whether he will get in time or not.
Right.
So those were the factors which were concerning me. But
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, you have to take a risk. Like, if you want to gain something, you have to take risks. Like, so I decided, ki, okay, for people are going for after graduation. Normally, people goes after graduation, which I heard ki, bhai, for MS and all people are going.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought when uh, abroad education is good for MS and all, that may be good for undergraduation also. So
Mm-hmm.
why not to take risk that?
Mm-hmm.
So accordingly, I went ahead with that
Right.
idea in my
Right.
mind.
राइट सो आई मीन वेरी वेरी वैलिड पॉइंट यू सेड कि बहुत से पेरेंट्स इस सोचते सोचते रह जाते हैं और बहुत अच्छी बात आपने पहले भी बताई कि जो अनुराग ने कंफर्म की कि बहुत ज़्यादा बार आप सिर्फ सोचते रहते हैं, आपके डिसीजन डिले करते हैं, जिसकी वजह से यू नॉट टेक अ बिग स्टेप्स इन योर लाइफ. And
Correct.
I think it's a very good foundation which you can lay down if you get a chance to get into a good university like University of Canterbury, which is, as I said, among the best top 300 and top 150 for different fields. So it makes sense with your reasonable percentage, you can still make into a big university. So coming back to Anurag, now I would like to share your experience being a student in New Zealand. So how were the first 10 days, when you arrived first time ever into a foreign country? So, were you excited and were you concerned about how the things are going to be? How was the experience, and how did that pre-departure, which we generally do, has helped you?
So basically, the pre-departure session, it pretty much sums up a lot of important things. One of them is about this cultural shock where, you know, there will be like a, I don't know, I should say it as a down phase, but it's something that is going to come and it's inevitable, you
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
So you will experience that. Like once you land here, everything is new, everything is different. Less people, firstly, because like going from India to a country where you just have like 4.5 million people, it's just a big culture shock altogether. But just be mentally strong. Don't think of all the negative aspects that are going to hit your mind. Stay positive. Universities, especially international universities, are designed in such a way that the first entire week is only for orientation. So orientation is basically where they have international welcome. They have a lot of other activities going on throughout the university where they just
तो
make you
एक
aware
हफ्ते
of
का orientation.
the 1 week of orientation. Yeah.
तो यार क्या करते हैं एक हफ्ता? यानी how do you spend 1 week for orientation? Like very hard.
So the first day will be some sort of international welcome where you just go across the campus, you meet the faculty as well, you talk to them, and the next few days will be some clubs day or societies day, like where there are plenty of clubs on international universities, you know, like in international universities, so where you can just it's free of cost to join all of them. So it's a good way to get yourself involved, new, like meet new people, and just basically meet local people, like on a majority basis, because they are the ones who will settle you properly, and then few days will be about how the transportation works, where are the important places like groceries, hospitals, and insurance and everything. So they just make you aware of all the important things that will be needed to settle in to the
So,
area.
would you want to talk about the university? How did you find the university, University of Canterbury?
The campus is beautiful. So it's quite different from what we usually see in universities in India. So basically, in universities in India, they might have like a main gate and to enter, and then there's a guard who checks your ID card and everything. But over here, the university is completely different. There's like traffic passing through your universities, and you, like basically buildings randomly popping up within the city area. So you just feel very involved, and you don't feel isolated from the entire city. You know, that's a very unique aspect of the university.
Okay. And would you like to talk about the people there in New Zealand, how they generally are towards foreigners or international students? Have you made friends?
Oh, yeah.
Friends?
Plenty of friends. Yeah, yeah. People in New Zealand are welcoming, so there are no issues over there. Just be mind free, and these guys will just make you feel as if you're one of theirs. Yeah, and yeah, so no pressure for international students, and no need to like fear like
Mhm.
anything.
And how you managing your food now?
So basically, I'm working part time.
Mhm.
Uh, so I'm working as a residential assistant here in the university accommodation.
Mhm.
So, and I've got a catered contract this year, luckily. So I get food. I do have to pay for it, but I do get all the 3 meals. But in the initial years, like my contract was a catered contract, so I had to cook food by myself, and it was not something new for me because I used to do that back in India as well.
Mhm.
Uh, Obviously, not on a regular basis over here. But the thing is, after a point of time, you just get used to the entire routine that okay, once I get done with my university, once I finish my day, I have to go home, I have to go back, cook, and then
Mhm.
spend some time watching few random videos and stuff. So yeah, don't just burden yourself, burden your thought process or thinking that, oh, I have to cook so much and everything. You'll just get used to that routine, and everyone is doing it. You're not the only one. Everyone is
Mhm.
doing it, so you should not excuse that thing.
तो इंडियन खाना वगैरह या इंग्रेडिएंट्स मिल जाते हैं वहाँ पे कुछ या completely rely on Western food?
No. There are plenty of Indian restaurants, plenty of Indian stores. You'll get each and everything that you get in India. And yeah, it's very accessible. And as we know, New Zealand is an international destination, so a lot of Indians reside here. A lot of them have citizenship and everything. So yeah, there's nothing to like worry about anything.
And we always been hearing about your great president, she's been very famous quite a few time now recently. How the government looks upon the international students? How much do they care, or I mean, maybe how do they get involved with the international community which is living there?
Oh, as you all know, like the Prime Minister is very involved with the international communities, as you guys keep seeing in the news and all those places. Government does not think international students as a burden. They look for them like in the way they look for the domestic students. Uh, they talk about employment for everyone in the parliament. Like that's one of the prime discussions about job creation and everything, and that involves international students. And universities have international student representatives as well. So if you have any sort of issue, then just go talk to them and they'll figure things out. So everything is in structure over here, so you don't have to worry about anything.
So Yogesh, coming to you, Anurag, I think he's been how many times? Twice in India since the time he's gone to New Zealand now. Yogesh, can you hear us?
Not able to hear you because there's some voice issue.
Acha,
Network issues there.
I'm just repeating the question if you can hear. Otherwise, I'll go back to Anurag. So अनुराग शायद से 2 बार आए हैं इंडिया जब से वो पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं. So what kind of changes you have seen, in Anurag post his education experience in New Zealand?
Yeah, yeah. When first time when he came back like from New Zealand, he came here twice. Like okay, so it was not like that he has become Shah Rukh Khan and all, like he's smart and all, but he was looking very smart. And after when I saw him, he was obviously he was a mature when he went from here. He was a bit mature, but after coming here, I saw so much changes. Like after coming here, I in fact I know people in customs and all, so I asked him whether I tell him to, so that there won't be any issue at the time of clearance. So he said, no, I will manage. I'll manage it. So deliberately, I then did not say anything to anyone, give you help him and all, and he came out on his own, like after doing the customs clearances and all, everything is even though he could have got a very VIP treatment over there, but so I came to know that now it's a different unlock now. And so he stayed here for 25-30 days, and we used to observe lots of things like he used to do on his own, which I used to go with him for doing, but he said, no, I'll do it. So maturity part was there, and he was a bit independent. In 6 months, he has become a bit independent. He was cooking his own food over there. When we said, okay, you get it from restaurant, he said, no, I'll manage it. So he was managing the show, like. So we were very happy, like we were very concerned what will happen, and then this is the outcome.
Right.
So result was good.
So Anurag, what your father is saying, so would you like to connect these points with regards to any of your extracurricular activities that has also helped you to become what you are today, So does that help you in any way, or do you get more exposure or outside classroom exposure, what we call here, which is equally very important? Would you like to show some lights on it?
Sure. So I can talk about my field basically related to business. So over here, there are a lot of different societies. Like there's commerce society and there's entrepreneurship society. So what these clubs and societies do is quite often they keep hosting some business case competitions where students come in, they are given like a real business case and they have to come up with a solution and then do the presentations. So I've done plenty of them last year, like maybe around 5 to 6 of them in the semester, and also went to Wellington for one of the national case competitions. And so I went as a part of University of Canterbury. So 4 people went for that, and I was one of them. That was like a good experience. Like you get to learn so much. You meet students from different universities across New Zealand. So there were students from Auckland, Victoria, Dunedin, like which is down south, Otago, Wellington, and so it's like a good exposure and a good experience that will somewhere help you in future. Like you just never know. Like anything is gonna help you in future.
Right. So, as you were talking about the other day, that when you, as a student, you get involved into these extracurricular activities, and these are free of cost for the students to participate. And there are lots of clubs and societies. Society, in the sense, in New Zealand, is society of a student, or group of a student coming together for one particular objective, or for subject-wise or goal-wise. So the students can participate in these kind of clubs. You get a lot of learning. You get to network with the people. And when Anurag what is explaining that he got an opportunity to represent University of Canterbury when he flew to Wellington. So even the flights and food and accommodation will be supported by the university because you're representing university, and you go out in the live atmosphere. You go to the business houses, to the company, present your case. They will do the cross questioning, and then it's a live case study which you do, with the company, and that is really worthwhile as a part of your study experience, which you get at the age of 18, 19. I believe that really set up, the mold your personality as well. And you really become mature and you see the business side, business world, how the people interact with you at this early age, before even you graduate. So that's something which is very unique about the learning. So, Anurag, how you're managing your expenses now? What's your, and then tell me something about your part-time job so that student can get some free tips and how can they cover their expenses.
So part-time jobs are available in New Zealand. Mostly, like, I wouldn't say every student, but most of them, they do work part-time and try to cover their living expenses and everything. So I'm working here as a residential assistant, so I get paid decent enough. So I cover all my accommodation cost and also my food expenses. And I wouldn't say I save a lot in this job, but I do save some money where I can use it for my own fun and everything.
Right. So
And
Yogesh, I mean, uh, yeah, has not been managing on his own. So how much pressure it has lifted from you, you know? Yeah, at least यहाँ तक तो he stand on his own feet now.
Yeah, it's a big relief of pressure because since when he joined the job and all, because he used to say, "Ki bhai, I will do my job. I will do some job so that I can earn something over here." So we used to say, "Ki bhai, better you concentrate on the studies only.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you get a job, just see to it your studies are not disturbed."
Mm.
So
Right.
we were very happy that he chose a job,
Mm.
not like working in restaurants. Normally, I come. Everybody says ki bhai, people are working in students are working in hotels and all.
Correct.
So it's a positive thing that part he is not doing. I will not say it's a wrong thing, like,
Mm.
but the job is within the campus. He is
Yeah.
managing expenses, which is which is a big relief to us. Like, it's a
Right.
pressure relieving for us. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So
yeah. Very happy.
just an initial point for students and parents that the countries like New Zealand, Ireland, even Australia, Canada, these are the places whereby you are also allowed to work off campus. Unlike US of course you can do part-time jobs on campus, but these countries you can do also off-campus job. Anurag is lucky to have a campus job. However, many students can pick up the job outside the campus. It could be odd jobs, it could be anything, but basically the jobs are not designed to better your profile. It's just to support your living expenses. So that's the whole purpose. If you get an internship, which may be the part of the course, there are different courses also whereby the internships are the part of the course. This is where you actually add value to your profile. So that's a difference between internship and the part-time job. So Anurag, what's your future plan now? How you see from here onwards?
So once I finish my degree, I am surely looking for work experience, at least 2 to 3 years, because experience is very important. So like which area interests you and whatever you studied till now, is it really worth it? Is it really something that is you know giving you enough fun and for your livelihood? So definitely getting a work experience before doing my masters. Yeah.
So you will be taking any particular specialization even in finance? So you will stick with the finance, or you will take any?
No. So as of now, supply chain management is something that I'm looking forward to, and I will be getting few specialization in that particular field. Finance, though, it's a good thing on a like finance helps in every sense. Like it's good on a personal level as well. And
Hmm.
supply chain basically is such a broad field that it also has supply chain finance, supply chain procurement, and everything. So it's surely going to help me somewhere. But yeah, supply chain management is something that I'll be looking forward in future.
Okay. Okay, so we come to the last part wherein we'll just take one line advice. So, Yogesh, what would be your one line advice to the parents who are listening to you in India? Uh, Yogesh, I'll just repeat the question. One line advice for parents who are listening to you.
There's some problem. Like, I'm not able to hear
Maybe
you.
you can just type the question in the chat so you can just read it and answer it maybe.
Yeah, please.
Okay,
There's
okay,
some
okay.
issues.
So, Anurag, meantime, can you share what would be your advice to the students who are listening to you or will be listening afterwards?
My advice would be to do your research thoroughly before coming here, so that once you come here, you should not have any regrets, and stay away from all the negative thoughts that people might try to put in your head. If you think that you are taking the right step, just be confident about it, and just just go for that step. That's it. I think if you're taking such a big step, you're mature enough to know what things are positive and what are negatives. So if you have the right information, you are aware of a lot of things, then just stay away from all those negative things and just take that step.
Right. Thank you, Anurag. Yogeji, did you get our question? Your one-line advice to our parents who are listening to you. Okay, maybe
Oh,
that
maybe.
net is not good. So, anyways, we thank Anurag for joining us today, and thank you for Yogesh also for joining us. And it was a really good session to have both of you. And it was truly a wonderful session. I believe that a lot of students and parents and counselors must have got a lot of good insight of what you shared. If any of our listeners seek further information, please feel free to contact us on our helpline, which is there in front of you, 99870 99890, or visit our website www.alif.in. And our experienced counselor will be happy to assist you. We'll be back again next week with another interesting topic and some amazingly talented speakers, students, or their parents. So, till then, stay safe, stay excited. And Anurag, thank you very much for joining us from New Zealand. Have a
Thank you.
good time. All the best for your career. Thank you,
Thank you
Yogesh,
so
for
much.
joining us. I know that there was some problem with the internet, but that's okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would say